And go ahead. Thank you, Sarah. I'm going to invite our fantastic author. Oh, you guys. Okay. Yep. I got to find her. There she is. Okay. Hey, Julie. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for joining us. Okay. I'm going to come join you on the stage so you're not alone. There you go.
Just listening to all of your planning for Snowmageddon.
It's very scary for us in Texas. Well, I'm not in Texas anymore, but it's the big first freeze and potential snow since our whole state went down last year.
Yeah, last year was awful to watch. I'm in northern Alberta, where this morning it was -38 with a wind chill of -47.
Yep. Oh yeah, we're gonna get into that because man, like Alberta
Crazy.
is cold. But Julie, before we get started, thank you again for joining us tonight. And of course, it was so wonderful to get to have a chance to chat with you back at Readers and Readas on your panel. But it's so nice to have 30 minutes of time with you. So thank you, thank you, thank you. To get us started, do you mind telling our readers a little bit about yourself and what sparked your interest in writing?
Sure. So I feel like I'm part of the name game here.
Yeah.
I'm Julie. I live in Fort McMurray, Alberta in Canada. So we're where the oil sands comes from.
Wow.
The highway north of us, well, there isn't one.
The world just ends. It's like where the
kind of does.
It kind of
does. We joke that we can see Santa Claus's place from our backyard.
It's a stone's throw away.
Yeah, he's just over there. Yeah. So, gee whiz, I've been writing for about 20 years, published for 10. Mm-hmm. Those first 10 years, I think I wrote 16 books before I sold one. It took a long time.
Wow.
At a steep learning curve. But I'm very persistent, as my children will tell you. And yes, just kept at it till I got somewhere. So my first career, I was a lab technologist. So there's a lot of medical stuff in my books. Although I do tell people that I can't put what I really did in a book. Nobody would believe it, because the stuff in real life is usually crazier than a reader can accept in a book. Because readers don't like it when people do stupid things in books, and they do stupid things all the time in real life. Vegetables they belong on the outside until you eat them. Anyway, so that's kind of me. I have 2 kids. I have 2 cats and a dog. I have a husband, and he's pretty cool. And cool. Yeah.
I love that. So had you always been a big reader?
Always, man. I remember in grade 7 sneaking my mother's Harlequins into class and reading them with my friend who sat next to me, and we would giggle. And yeah, it was bad.
Oh man.
Yeah, I've always read. I'm an avid reader now. I have a huge list. Like, if you ask me who my favorite author was, I would have a really hard time picking just one, because there's just so many people I enjoy reading. I love Ilona Andrews, Nalini Singh, Anne Bishop, Faith Hunter. Like, it's just, the list is
you love the best.
Long list. Yeah. So yeah, I love to read. I not like nothing better than finding a new to me author and realizing they have a backlist. Yay!
Now, do you have to read in order, or do you kind of just read however you feel?
I like order most of the time. It depends on the author and whether or not you can read them out of order, but I prefer usually to read them in order. Yeah,
that's fair. It's always a controversial topic, so I'm like, oh, well, let me ask.
Everybody's got their preferred way.
Absolutely. Yeah. What was the first romance you remember loving?
I still have it.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to see?
Yes.
What? Give me 2 seconds.
Okay, go. I'm so excited.
Oh my God, where did my daughter put it?
Uh-oh.
Wait. Did I find it over here?
Oh man, sabotage.
Now I can't find the damn thing. Crap. I'll bring you a different one.
Okay.
Now this is an oldie but a goodie. Prince Joe from Stan Brockman. This is the original cover.
Mm-hmm.
This is the original first printing.
Oh
yeah,
gosh.
you can't find these very well anymore. She's one of the ones that her writing really made me want to write a book.
Really?
And I lucked out. When I first started, I entered my stuff into as many contests as I could get them into.
Yeah.
And I got her as a judge.
Julie, crazy.
And she wrote in the margins, like, okay, you need to do this and you need to do that. And then she wrote and she put a little bubble around it. You're a great writer. I cried when I got that. I absolutely was a disaster all over my floor. And then I went to a conference, an RWA conference where she was, and I told her about that. And she wrote in the book she signed for me, I can't wait until you're signing books for me.
Oh, Julie, that's
amazing. I'm like, the woman is so wonderful. Like, yeah, like just what an inspiration to meet somebody like that. And yeah, it was like, what?
I love it. Have you had a chance to give her one of your copies?
I haven't. I haven't seen her in a long time at a conference, and there really hasn't been one now for a couple of years. So
what are conferences? We don't know anymore.
I miss them. I live up here. There's a very small writing community here. So those, I used to go twice a year to the States to a reader event or a conference or something. And now that I haven't been able to, it's like, I feel so lonely.
Yeah, it's like you get that camaraderie when you go, and that kinship.
It fills your well. And just to have people who read books sit and talk to you about books, whether they read yours or not, it's like, I'm always fascinated about what other people like and what they look for in a story and what really grabs them. Like it always gives me ideas about what I might want to do in a future story.
Yeah. What grabs you when you're like intrigued with a new story?
Oh, I really like when they establish the character first. So especially the heroine, she's got to have be confident, have some drive, be doing something interesting with her life, or deciding to change and go in a new direction. I like to see people who are stretching themselves and then finding love. I mean, yeah, that's what gets me. Yeah.
There's something so like, I don't know, just universal about love, and like to be able to weave a story about love that has to just be so rewarding for you.
I'm a hopeless romantic.
Love that.
I really do think that people don't give themselves enough credit when they're putting themselves out there looking for their one and only. I think it's scary to a lot of folks. And if I can provide a story that gives them joy, there is nothing better than that. That is amazing.
Absolutely.
When someone says to me, "Oh no, I really enjoyed your book," I always feel like, "Oh my God, can I touch you? Like, can I give you a hug?" Like,
right? It's so satisfying.
yeah. It's really nice. I don't get a lot of readers emailing me directly, but when they do, it really touches my heart. It really does. It makes it all worth it, especially the edits.
Well, because I mean, like writing is such a solitary experience.
Yeah, but if you have an editor or some writing friends that you can talk with, that really helps. I find I actually teach a lot of online classes, and that helps too, because I'm able to show other people how to do something different, or give them ideas, or show them opportunities where they can make changes. That's nice too, because I like to pay it forward.
Mm-hmm.
and encourage people to keep going, because there's so many great writers out there who just, they're so scared of actually putting it out, like
Yeah.
whether it's sending it to an agent or an editor or self-publishing. They're so scared, and it's like, I just want to push them off the ledge.
Put it
Come
like
on,
a
you
little
can do it.
baby bird, get out of the
Yeah,
nest.
yeah, you can do it. Yeah, yeah.
I love that. Well, switching gears a little bit, let's jump into your series, Trapped with Him. Your latest book just came out in the series. What inspired this series? Because it has a little bit of an interesting twist to it.
The series or the book?
The series. Let's talk about, the Trapped
The
with Him
whole
series.
series.
Yeah.
Well, really, it was COVID, because we were all trapped at home.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I thought, well, wait a minute, how do I turn this not so great situation into something of a fantasy? And that's where I started to come up with forced proximity situations where you're stuck somewhere and you have to solve the issues and save the day, usually.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to put people in different places and doing different things. So each book is quite different from the other. I've got the first one set in the Middle East. The second one is set in Europe with an undercover prince. The third one is in a old gold mine. The fourth one's in Alaska, and the last one's in Antarctica. So I really wanted to put people all over the world doing different things.
Yeah. What's fun about writing about like extreme climates? Because I thought it was so interesting having Alaska and then Antarctica with this last book.
Yeah, well, I've spent some time, I live in the north, and I've actually worked farther north than that when I was younger. And the ability to adapt to big swings in temperature is not an easy one. And the isolation also makes it very difficult. So if you're in a small community in Alaska or in Antarctica, you've got what you've got, and that's all you've got.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to learn to survive with just the things that you have with you, because there's a period of time when nothing can come in. It's too cold. The planes can't even land and continue running and drop stuff off. It can get too cold for that even. So I have a sister-in-law's brother flies in Antarctica. So I was able to find out a few things about how difficult that is, getting in there and getting out. And it is difficult there. It's not a safe place to be.
How long of a trip is it to go there? You have to go probably all over the world.
Yeah. In order to get to drop off to the South Pole Station, which is in the middle of the continent, you have to leave from New Zealand, Christchurch in New Zealand, and they only have enough fuel to go there and come back, and nothing else. Like it's if you use too much fuel, they actually can't finish the trip. They have to come back. So if there's headwinds, that's a problem. Yeah. So there's a lot of logistics that go into that, because it can take several hours, like 12, to fly out there and then fly back. I don't know if you remember the physician that was there who had cancer, discovered she had cancer, and they had to fly in and get her in the middle of winter.
I didn't know about that story.
Yeah. My sister-in-law's brother was one of the pilots.
Oh, wow.
They actually had a plane, and it went, and they didn't know if it would be able to land. So they had a second plane ready to go and in the air, and then a third. Literally, they set it up so that if the first plane couldn't do it, the second one could try. If the second one couldn't do it, the third one could try. They were really determined to get her off the ice there. Yeah. So, I mean, that actually, I can't remember what book, but that story you can read about that story. It's a true story. And yeah, some crazy stuff goes out there. So some of the things that I wrote about in the Ice Station Chief, like the tricycle races. That's true. They do
really?
that. Oh yeah. they play music, they set up bands, they watch movies like Rocky Horror Picture Show, and yeah, they do a lot of things to maintain a sense of community and connection, because it is so isolated and so
Mhm.
dark. Like it's,
Yeah.
you don't see the sun for months. So it's a hard place to work, but it's also very intellectually rewarding, because there's so much science going on down there. There's
Mhm.
actually a new series on, I think it's Netflix. I think there's 6 episodes, and they just filmed it 2 years ago in Antarctica. And it was really interesting because they were all
Cool.
science teams. They were in the summer, though, in the Antarctic summer, all doing all different kinds of science. And it was really interesting to see what they're doing there that's helping the rest of the world. There's
Mhm.
a lot of science going on now down there.
Yeah. So, and it's interesting with like survivalism, I feel is in extreme climates is kind of a growing subgenre in romantic suspense. Who are some
Mm.
authors that you think are doing a good job at this?
Oh, that's a great question. Geez, I'm not even sure who the author is, though. Darn it.
That's okay. If we can
Uh,
know
I,
title or, you know.
I'm a big Mount Everest fan,
Mhm.
and there's a ton of work. And the one book that I really found very, very intriguing, and it's called High Crimes,
Mhm.
and it's about crime on Mount Everest.
Ooh,
Yeah,
I know there's dead
interesting.
bodies on Mount Everest, but I didn't even think
Yes.
about crimes.
So imagine somebody, you set up, you're going up to the mountain, and you have to go in stages. It
Mhm.
takes months to acclimatize. And the Sherpas go up and leave oxygen tanks in tents set up ready for you. What happens when you get up there and there's no oxygen tanks because somebody stole them?
Oh my gosh.
So that's something that they talk about, is the theft that no one else mentions, that
Mhm.
equipment, food, yeah, stuff that if the situation is not great, could kill you if your stuff isn't there. And what happens if a Sherpa leaves somebody behind that they could have helped come down? How do you even know? Like, yeah, there's a lot of ethical things that are a little iffy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to look up the author of that. I have it on my bookshelf, but my daughter reorganized it and now I can't find anything.
She's like, Mom, I'm trying to help you.
Yeah, that's what she said too at the time. Hopefully she's not listening to this, or I'm gonna hear about it when I get up.
What did you love about putting Emily and Tom together?
I really wanted to put 2 people who'd been hurt so badly in different ways. They're both just so wounded, and I wanted
Mhm.
them to find each other and heal together. And I mean, she's a widow trying to figure that out, and he's just terrified to fall in love because he doesn't want to um, be another generation of men who abuse their wives and their
Yeah.
kids. And they're so desperate to figure themselves out that they needed to get away from everything so that they could do that. Yeah, like it was just, healing is a big thing. And if you sometimes you have to take yourself out of your regular situation,
Mhm.
and in order to find it, because you're in a rut.
Yeah.
And when we get in a rut, sometimes those ruts are not very good.
Mm-mm.
Just behaviors that we do over and over. And sometimes the way to get out of it is to completely change your surroundings.
Yeah, to blow up your life.
You betcha, blow up your life, like sell it all, live in a tiny house somewhere, whatever. But sometimes that's what you need, because your environment is toxic.
Mhm.
And if your environment is toxic, you're never going to be able to get anywhere. It's
Yeah,
really hard to do it that way.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that's something that's so wonderful about romance in general, is that it, like, you can have these conversations like that, and somebody who's reading it can see themselves reflected in that story and be like, oh, I might need to get help, or I might need to go and kind of blow my life up and make some changes and be a better person for myself.
Yep. You just don't know what's going to happen when you put yourself out there. My niece, she's 18, doesn't know what she wants to do. She was valedictorian. She can go anywhere, do anything. She's riding horses right now.
She needed a break.
Yeah, she got a job at a dude ranch and she's riding horses. I think she's going to be a veterinarian, but she was so burnt out from high school and trying to be valedictorian, all that pressure to do well that yeah, she needed to ride horses for a year. And I said, you know what? I wish I had done that.
Yeah, it's smart.
Yeah, very.
That's great for her. So Julie, before I jump into our fresh facts section, I wanted to see what you're working on next.
Well, it's something a little different. I'm working on a vampire.
Really?
Yeah. It's a little different. My vampire is kind of a jerk.
As vampires tend to be.
Yes, arrogant and all that stuff.
They have all these years behind them.
Yes. But this guy's torturing himself because he blames himself for tragedy in his past, and he's trying to pay it. He's trying to punish himself and has been for quite a long time. So he's got a hard road to hoe, as we say. It's going to take a while for him to earn his happily ever after.
Are we going to follow him for multiple books, or is it just going to be okay?
Yeah.
That's very exciting. Have you just been kind of kicking this idea around for a little while and it was just the right time?
Actually, this book has been in the back of my head for about 10 years.
Wow. Yeah.
And it just wasn't coming together, and now I'm like, no, now's the time. I'm going to do something different this time. And yeah, so
that sounds exciting. Well, good luck. Can't wait.
Thanks.
We love vampires. All right. Well, I'm just going to ask you a few of our fresh fact questions before I turn this over to our readers for any follow-up questions that they have. These are just kind of fun, silly little questions. So answer them however you're comfortable. All right, Julie, what is your favorite trope to read?
Oh, I'm trying to think. I think brother's best friend.
Okay, that's a good one. What is your favorite trope to write?
I like to write Woman in Jeopardy.
Excellent. I was expecting you to say forced proximity. I was like, is it going to be that one?
It can be, yeah. That too.
What is your favorite genre to read?
Paranormal romance.
Awesome. What is one genre that you never want to read again?
I can't. What?
Don't worry, I won't tell them that you said it.
Make me choose one I don't want to read ever again. I'm not really a horror fan, so if it goes past a certain line, no thanks.
Yep. I totally understand that. Okay, what is your favorite time of day to write?
At night. I'm definitely a night owl. Yeah.
Awesome. What is your favorite time to read?
Every time is good for that.
You're like, that's why I write at night. I'm reading all day. That is so funny. All right. So who was your first book boyfriend or girlfriend?
Oh man, you ask tough questions. My first book boyfriend. Wow. I mean, I keep going back, but it's like, I'm not really sure. I can't remember his name. I read a story where it was a CEO and he dressed up like a mechanic in disguise to find out what was going on at his company.
Oh man, undercover boss.
Yeah, I just really that was him. I just don't remember what the book was called. Shoot.
Well, if you remember, you'll let us know. Okay.
I will actually. I'll go look. I've got it somewhere over there on my bookshelf.
What is your favorite writing fuel?
Oh, my favorite writing fuel. Music, I would guess. Yeah.
Awesome.
I
Can
like,
you can write while you're listening to music?
yeah, yeah. Sometimes I'll put on specific songs or even television shows in the background, depending on the mood that I'm going for.
Hmm,
So I literally, if I'm writing a medical scene, I will put alt MASH on the TV.
that's hilarious.
Yeah, I
I
will. I
love
will put
MASH.
MASH on there. Yeah. So it just depends on what I'm writing. So sometimes I'll be like, I need Sting for the next hour, or yeah, it just depends.
That's awesome. What is one luxury item you can't live without?
Tea,
Oh, tea, like a fancy tea, like a specific any type of tea.
decaf, vanilla chai.
Yum.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yep.
It's a good one. I
You
love that.
bet.
Let's see. How do you celebrate a new release?
Usually we go out for dinner. So it's the Keg here. I don't know if you have it in the States. It's a steakhouse.
Mhm.
Yeah, we usually go out for dinner.
Nice. Yeah, I love the cake. We have those in Washington.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Oh, good.
Mhm. All right, so let's see. For one of our last questions, what are 3 items that you would have on you if you were stranded?
I would have multiple grocery bags, the kind that you can use and roll up. I've got
Mhm.
8 in my purse. Pens, and I also have those pen lights. I've got those in my purse all the time.
Awesome.
Yeah. I don't know.
Perfect. All right, so our last question before I turn this over to our readers is I'd love for you to tell us a little bit about your writing day.
My writing day.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, I generally get up around 8 in the morning, feed my pets, and they get more medications than I do. So that has to get done in the morning. Oh my God, you wouldn't believe they all got problems. Anyway, I'll have breakfast, and then I usually look at the news, and then I will go through my email, and then I'll do some writing. I like to write in about 1 hour chunks. So I get an hour done in the morning. And then I'd like to do an hour in the afternoon and an hour at night. And for me, I like the way I percolate what I'm working on in those chunks. I've tried to write more all at once. It doesn't work so well. So
Mhm.
for me, it's 3 different chunks during the day.
Awesome. Great. Well, Julie, thank you so much for joining us. Before we say goodbye to you, our recording portion, where can readers find you online?
They can find me at julieroweauthor.com.
Perfect. All right. Thank you so
Okay,
much, Julie.
you're welcome.